Hello YouTube. We're looking at the reconstruction of the West 3rd Street Bridge, and I figure right now is a good time to talk about this in a video. Construction workers are definitely one profession that they're not being laid off of work, and it's definitely, you know, with the economy right now still being largely shut down, a lot of businesses are still not being allowed to reopen in Ohio. So, and I think one good thing I see coming out of this whole coronavirus, garbage or hysteria or lockdown, I think a lot of people are going to have to reevaluate their chosen professions, during a lockdown or during a disaster. In case, when things do reopen up across this state and across the country, is, what professions, will they, be in? And it's really hard to believe that, so, and construction is one of those things where you could just, it's a trade you could learn. You don't really have to go to, college, for it. But I think, this whole virus thing with so much of the economy being shut down is going to make people think about, maybe more people are going to start flocking to the healthcare and the construction industry and other businesses that they can't take away your, job during a time like this. And I see that as one good thing, that will come out of this. And I'm also going to talk about the timeline for this bridge too. They're saying 22 months. And this water through here is not really all that deep. This might only come up to your knees in maybe most spots along the river. It's actually a pretty shallow part of the river. So, and I think to say 22 months to do this bridge is greatly exaggerated. They started at the beginning of January, the start of this year, 2020. I'll say they could have this bridge done in as quick as 16 months if they really try to. I mean, I'll say this bridge could be done as quick as July of next year to September of next year. So I say you could cut the timeline down on this potentially to 16 to 18 months, because the water right here is generally if it floods through here, it's one thing, but the water through here is generally considered pretty shallow. So they shouldn't have that much of an issue with the water coming up on them, except during an extreme amount of rain or a big snowfall, melt. So, I mean, I have my doubts if it's going to take until November of next year to finish this. I think they could have it done as early as next summer or the early fall months. But I think, this whole thing, as I said, it's going to make people have to think about the choices they're making as far as the professions go that they choose to be in, because, many people are still struggling to get their unemployment. Restaurants are still not allowed to reopen for dine-in in Ohio. Barbershops are still closed. Gyms are still being closed. So, I do see that as one good thing that's gonna come out of this whole thing. So what do you guys think? And also, what do you guys think about the timeline of this bridge they're given 22 months? As I said, I know they could have this done in 16 to 20 months. It could be done much faster than what they're saying, especially if the weather is good. I don't see why it would take 22 months during this time. I mean, I am not an engineer, but I just think they could move this much faster than that timeline. And of course, if there's a bonus in the contract that they finish early, and of course they're going to be incentivized to do it. And of course, this bridge, because of where it's located at in the historical record of this bridge, because this bridge, you know, largely divides downtown and the east side from the west side. Of course, the west side of Dayton, which is the largely, predominantly African American side of town, they're definitely going to go all out on the design of this bridge as far as the, historical markers and the information on this bridge. They're going to make this bridge fancy, that's totally fine with me. I have no problem with that. But what I don't want to see is, don't delay the opening of this bridge, for fancy bullshit. When the construction of the bridge is done, put the plaques and put the memorials and all the other historical information on the bridge afterwards, but open up the bridge. Because you don't need to delay the opening of the bridge for fancy, historical purposes. But that's it for this one.